it is an extremely difficult affair to run a nation. Very difficult affair. Because every Kenyan, poor or rich, in affluent society, in very remote corners of our country, all of them are Kenyans, and their government should serve them, and they should feel that indeed they have a government which cares about their day-to-day affairs. So we have marginalized communities, both in urban centers, people living in very difficult situations, as well as people living in very difficult situations in our rural areas. All these people are supposed to be served by their government. And the ministry which should drive the public service is this ministry. The people sitting in this room are in charge of ensuring that there is that energy, there is that drive, there is that motivation which will, which will permeate to other ministries, whether it's Ministry of Health, whether it is Ministry of Roads or Water or whatever it is, that we should be able to set the pace in terms of public service and delivery. Now, as the President of the Republic, you may have all that passion. As the Parliament of the Republic, you may set all the good laws from Parliament to ensure that everything is well aligned to the aspiration of each and every Kenyan. But the implementers, between the President, between the body which sets the framework, the legal framework of implementation, and the actual people driving the mandate, the vision, there may be disconnect, or it may be disjointed. If that is disjointed, regardless of how hard I shout, or how loud I shout at the top of my voice, in terms of what we need as far as public service delivery is concerned, if that thing is not proper, is disjointed, then my vision as a president, or the vision of the president, the vision of the Parliament of Kenya may not be achieved. And what the people will say generally is that their government is not delivering on what they want as far as the aspiration is concerned. So in other words, what I'm trying to say is this team is an extremely critical team. This is a team which can bring down a government. This is a team which can bring down a government. Because, and I can assure you, I had an opportunity to work with the President William Ruku for some time. He's an extremely passionate, patriotic person who really want to transform this nation in all sectors. But for him to transform this nation, he must have a civil service or public service which is functional, which is committed, which is focused, which is motivated, which is determined. You may use any word to ensure that his vision of the nation is going to be achieved. And his vision is transforming this country. From where I sit, as a government, in terms of making the decisions, we will not spare any effort in pulling this team together and other teams within the public service to ensure that they give the impetus which is required to the vision of the President William Ruto in transforming this nation. Sasa mimi naomba jameni, let's all be one team. Know that your president, he means what he says. There are all manner of stories in media as a very, it's a crisis in Kenya that the top is not functioning. But as you have said, all of you have a master's degree and above. You very well know that there are some things which you cannot manipulate. One, extremely difficult to manipulate the interest rates, bank interest rate. Very difficult to manipulate the Nairobi Stock Exchange capitalization. Very difficult to manipulate the inflation of any nation or any economy. Extremely difficult to rely on foreign exchange or foreign exchange rate. For instance, for Kenya, between dollar and Kenya shilling. But for those parameters, those economic parameters, for an economy to get it right, you must put working policies and programs in place. Using a way. And if you compare from 2022, when President William Ruto was taking office, and now, all those parameters, economic or macroeconomic parameters, are indicating a positive trajectory. All of them. And for them to have a positive trajectory, it means there is an administration somewhere which has put the right programs, has made the right decisions for them, for all those macroeconomic parameters to be well aligned for the economic growth. Sasa, all these media entrance, from Standard to People Daily, to I don't know whichever, to the Star, it's okay. Our Constitution gives them the right to write whatever they are writing. But you are the people in the public service. You are the people to help President William Ruto and his government to achieve the agenda of transforming this nation. For us to transform this nation, we must have a committed, working public service. So the police service and teacher service commission, you go to the very remote corners. 2 days ago, I was in Royangarani, very remote corner of Marsabit, in a school which has been submerged by water. In Ermoro, the school is called Ermoro Bay Primary School. In that school, there are teachers who have not given up, who are serving, who are teaching pupils in an extremely remote place and in very difficult circumstances. Some of the teachers there don't come from that community. They come from far other corners. But they are there in Elmore Bay Primary School teaching. So you see the commitment and dedication to some of the professions. In police service, in teacher service, but you see some very negligence, lack of seriousness when you go to Minister of Agriculture office in Chicago. You see some public officers trying to sabotage the fertilizer program, which president has given it his all to ensure this program is working for the farmers across the Republic of Kenya. Some guys trying to see how they can get some bags of fertilizer out of the stores, which is not within the system. So, Jamani, what I'm trying to say is that we are lucky as a nation. We have a president who is committed to carry this nation to the level of a nation which is transformed. But we have a challenge of the workforce, the public servant, that every single day we have an excuse. We are not paid well, we are not motivated, we don't have equipment, our offices are not costly enough. We give all manner of excuses for us not to do what we are supposed to do. It's my humble request as senior managers, please try and push all the public servants that we have to do our best in the prevailing circumstances. Whether we are working at a tree, whether we are serving when our offices are leaking, or whichever circumstances, we have to give it our best. And I know if we are to employ over 50% capacity of the Kenyans civil service or public service, the cry which sometimes you get from Kenyans will not be there. This is my summary for the few days I've been in this office as a minister in charge of public service and having an opportunity to serve in the National Assembly and now to serve in cabinet, and also had an opportunity for many years to be in the streets. So please, the senior managers who are here, the directors and assistant directors, we have an opportunity to join hands with the President of the Republic of Kenya in transforming our nation. President has said he's going to ensure Kenya is transformed in our lifetime. The remaining years, 7 years, is a very long duration of time towards the journey of transforming this country. Let all join hands with the head of state in giving him the necessary support for him to achieve the transformation agenda of our nation. Hiyo tu ndio mimi nawauliza jamani. Because that gentleman is going through a lot. Hata saa zingine I ask myself, if I was given that opportunity to be the president of this nation, it's very easy kuacha kila kitu kwa hiyo ofisi na kutokea kwa gate unasema na unatoroka because it's too much. The budget is a problem. I was in Bunge the other day. Balancing the budget of this country is a nightmare. Serious nightmare. I'm in cabinet. The other day, we are to cut 150 billion from, I don't know, bribery. You know, you cross your eye because you don't know where you are going to remove 100 million. Because all is important. Whatever the money put there is needed. But now we have a situation whereby you have to cut 150 billion, not million, billion. It's an extremely difficult affair. You can easily raise your hands and say, Jamani, forget about this, me, I'm gone. I have another life to live. You understand? But now, we have a gentleman who is not giving up. So let all of us not give up. Let's ensure those who we are supervising, they are not giving up. Let's ensure the very marginalized communities, whether in urban centers or in our rural areas, are getting the necessary, the required service from the government. And I know all of us, we are capable of doing that. And that is what, as your minister, I would want us, all of us to work together in that direction.